You're listening to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Challenge us at Wexford Insurances 0818 31 30 30.
My first guest this morning is Anne Marie Ferris from the Causeway Clinic. The reason that I've asked you to come in this morning, Anne Marie, is to talk to us about stress, the number one reason for workplace absenteeism in Ireland today, and how neuro-linguistic programming can alleviate this. However, before we start on that particular topic, I'd like you to start by telling me a little bit about your own background, please.
Well, I have been involved in helping people deal with their situations for about 25 years, Karl. My whole background is teaching, so I've come from teaching primary school right up to lecturing in college. And through that, I've been working with people who are easily successful and ones who are really coping with difficulties. So it's the difficulties that I've worked with and developed over the years. So really, I've done a lot of extra work and training, not only in teaching and special needs, but in stress and stress management, counselling, therapy, and eventually that led me on to NLP.
And the idea for the Causeway Clinic, I know it was set up 2 years ago. How did that come about?
Well, it's really to be, first of all, a resource for people. So a source of information on how to deal with problems, how to make personal changes, and how really to be more effective in life. You
touched on an area there called NLP. Explain that to me, please.
NLP it's really, I suppose, the cutting edge of psychotherapy. It's a revolutionary way developed in the 1970s to teach people how to use their mind, how to use their brain, how to make the changes that they want and get the results they want in life.
And how can that be used in relation to overcoming the issue of stress?
Everybody suffers from stress, and no matter what walk of life you're in, whether you're in business or whether you're at home, stress interferes with our thought processes, our health, our concentration, our communication. Sometimes we're on a very short fuse if we're stressed out. So it really does, it's very applicable to the whole idea of dealing with stress.
I know in the current economic climate, stress is a major issue in the workplace. Have you any examples of some of the clients that you would have dealt with over the last number of years?
A lot of people, employers listening here, will have everyone who employs people, the people come in and they bring their problems with them. So you don't get kind of a clean slate when you walk through the door. There may be financial problems at home, relationship problems, other stressful situations with illness, back pain. Stress is known to cause back pain, migraine, and they all actually land in work with the employees. Never mind the pressure that the business owners themselves are under. So really, stress is a part of dealing with business today.
Have you any tips today for business people out there that would be suffering from stress in terms of how they could overcome it?
Yes. Now, work-life balance is a phrase that's been thrown around a lot. Anyone who runs or owns their own business will know that I don't think there's any such thing as work-life balance. What we have to do is maintain some kind of perspective of continuity and some vision of not getting stuck in the problems and the stresses of the day-to-day running of the business. So ideas on how to do that, well, one would be to get out and to get exercise and fresh air. To obviously have a look at the diet. A lot of coffee, while it's very common, it doesn't help. It interferes with concentration. So diet, exercise, and really, I think to make any worthwhile change, Karl, we have to be able to use our mind differently, deal with information we have, make decisions, and change what we do.
I know that the mind itself is a very, very complex area. How does NLP simplify it?
NLP is really, it stands for NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So it's all to do with the brain and language and how we use our own thoughts and language to run our brain, which runs our body and runs our life. So that's really the process of NLP. It's like a manual for your brain, the manual you never got. So anybody who wants to make changes to deal better with their life basically could do with learning NLP. And there are several levels of NLP. So people come to me for personal change work, either to do with running their business or their own personal life. And that usually takes about a month to get that set up for people so that they are then running their own life differently. Then there's the professional training that a lot of business people come to take, and that's NLP practitioner training or master practitioner training. So these tools that people come to learn will help you deal, it'll give you effective communication, help you deal with conflict resolution, how to hold meetings successfully, how to really deal with all the problems that land on your lap as a business owner.
Why do you think there's such a low level of awareness out there in relation to NLP?
Well, actually, in Ireland, we're probably a little bit behind, as is kind of can happen over here. It's very, very popular in the United Kingdom, and obviously in America, it's very popular. It really it really impacts on the bottom line. So people who are communicating effectively from the top down will actually do their job better, and profitability goes up.
Tell me about some of the training that you had to undergo in order to become a practitioner in this area.
I had to go to London for 3 years in a row. First of all, for practitioner training, and then a very intensive master practitioner training a couple of years later. And then I did my trainer's training. So there was absolutely no NLP training available back in the day when I did it. There was none available here in Ireland. And there are very few of us actually qualified trainers. Lots of people who are making super use of their NLP skills, which is always great to see. So it's a very, very, if anyone wants to Google NLP, it's applicable in lots of areas, in business, in therapy and in education.
And most of the clients that you're attracting, what reason are they coming to you for?
I work with adults for business-related situations, management, and I work with a lot of personal situations, stress, relationships, health problems, depression, just making changes, big changes in their lives that help them move on. And I also work a lot with children and adults with dyslexia and learning difficulties. You know,
it's a common myth out there that there is no cure to dyslexia. What would your thoughts on that be?
Well, it's interesting because actually one of our own children has dyslexia, and she's very severely dyslexic. So while I say, it is a particular wiring of the brain, and it is a style of learning that is not inside the box. It's very different. While there is no cure in that, you will always have to approach things your own way, there are areas of the brain that NLP can unblock and reconnect and get you using your visual memory, getting you seeing things and memorising things that you never could before. So it really is a breakthrough for dyslexia.
So I know that there is two options in relation to NLP for people. Either number one, they come for therapy, or number two, they come for training. Talk me through the process in terms of if somebody approached you in relation to therapy. What way does that work?
When people approach me initially, we have a chat first in person or on the phone. Then there would be a detailed questionnaire to fill out, personal questionnaire. And on the basis of that, I would prepare the work. So the work is very results focused. So I would do a lot of preparation beforehand so that the face-to-face time gets the most results. And typically in 4 weekly sessions, we can have somebody deal with their past issues, the patterns, the recurring patterns and problems in all areas of their life, and make decisions and choices and be at a stage where they can start to put them into action and see real results in their life. So it's very pragmatic, very practical, and it's all results based.
We touched on the area of stress a number of times over the last 10 minutes, but just to go back to it once more, how can people actually prevent themselves from, suffering from excess stress?
Well, you see, stress is part of life, and we need a certain amount of stress to get us up out of bed in the morning. But when it becomes distress, like when we're coping with it, it's fine. But when we're actually not coping, when there's stress we're either not dealing with or not processing, then it becomes a problem, and it can interfere with us, with giving us anxiety, lack of concentration, interrupt our sleep patterns, interfere definitely with our communication. So you'd want to watch for those signs, and the things to do is to seek help, because there is very simple, practical help out there.
How does NLP therapy differ from counselling?
It's very different in that, because I've been a counsellor as well and a regular therapist, and it's very different, Karl. NLP is very results orientated. It's very quick therapy. It's very practical, and it gives the person tools for change, whereas counselling is non-directive, and the person could kind of typically go to counselling for weeks and weeks and months, and the change is at no particular pace. Whereas NLP, it's basically, it's in, it's out, it's make your decisions, your changes, and therein then we provide support on an ongoing basis for all our clients and students as well.
Anne Marie, we've spent the last 10 minutes speaking about stress and the role of NLP in relation to resolving that particular issue. I'd like to talk to you now a little bit about your own business. You started it 2 years ago, the Causeway Clinic, and I'd like to know your experience to date. How have you found it in this very challenging time out there?
Well, that's interesting because, it could be seen as the worst time to start an actual business. And in fact, I think the need for what we do is huge. The demand is huge. The problems, I think, more so are there. People are suffering the effects of the recession, and they really need ways of coping and ways of surviving, coping with their own mindset, the difficulties they're encountering. And I think more than ever it's needed, between adults coming with problems, with children with dyslexia, learning difficulties. The demand is actually greater than our ability to keep up with it at the moment.
Where else are you sourcing your business from?
Well, I work with schools. I provide information to schools. So we really see ourselves as a resource for schools, for teachers, for parents, training in service work for teachers as well. So our work comes really through the network of education and training as well.
And what's your plan for the future in terms of your vision for growth for the Causeway Clinic?
Well, we're training practitioners at the moment in the Learning for Life programme. So I have people trained and I have people doing internships. And we hope to expand the Wexford office and open some more offices. We have a new website development with online training as well in NLP and the Learning for Life programme. So it's all very exciting and it's all in a real growth situation. And I think the main thing to realise for people is that no matter what the economic climate is, we are people. And this is all about getting the most out of yourself, the most out of your employees, the most out of your business, and retaining your sanity in the meantime.
Well, Anne Marie, it's certainly been a very informative interview. Thank you for dropping by, and I wish you continued success with the Causeway Clinic.
You're listening to South East Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Think Wexford Insurances for your business insurance.